What's up, everybody? It's your boy Phil Shocker, the 96 Edge out here with our MPA Draft Analysis. We are here back again for the MPA, and I am so excited. It's the Moonlight Battlers Association. If you guys did not know, this league is commissioned by my good buddy Honch, and we are here for the third division we added to this season into the server, and we have made an Ubers division. I am a actual mod now in the server, and I am also in charge of this division along with my good buddy Drew, aka Alfredo. So we are the ones running the Uber, and believe it or not, as the time you see this recording, we finished our division's draft before midnight, and it was literally little over than 24 hours that we started and then we finished. So hashtag best division in the Ubers division, which is also going to be known as the Moongeist division, in case we didn't say it. Pun on all of the Moongeist moves, Moonlight, Moongeist, so on and so forth. But our division is an Ubers division. We were testing out some Ubers doing speed tours. We were testing out exactly what Ubers may need to be banned, if we need to put a point system that need to be restricted. And excuse me, complex bans we might have to do, or just ban Pokemon in general because of them and stuff like that. So it's through this division, through the speed tours, that we realize that Arceus Ground is way too much of a broken Pokemon. Arceus Normal is too much of a broken Pokemon. Dawn Wings Necrozma basically just seems too overpowered, or at least too unpredictable in terms of it being a weak responsive user and stuff like that. Also with the Dragon Dance. So and the Primal Ground has always been bad. So stuff like that has been put in consideration. Also, we have a rule here with Arceus, which the first four forms that are drafted are the only forms that are allowed in the league. So basically, once say it goes Arceus, Water, Dark, Electric, and then the last one being Ghost. After Ghost is picked, no one is allowed to draft an Arceus form. The Arceus forms are completely banned from being picked after the first four are picked out. So definitely makes team building not as much of an issue against some other teams, which is gonna be good because I think a lot of the times people have a hard time prepping to going against Arceus forms. So that's definitely something to kind of point out there. Sorry, I'm a little tired, but overall, that's kind of the gist of the rules. We were given a budget of 145 points for 10 to 11 months, lowest being 11, lowest being 10, highest being 11. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into my draft analysis. You guys can tell it's 3:12 in the morning. I am doing a big favor. I'm doing a favor for Kara by staying up for the next 2.5 or so hours, just so I can make sure that picks are getting put through while she gets some sleep, which I don't care about. I don't care about. I don't mind staying up a little late because sometimes I can watch stuff, and also gave me the time to do this draft analysis. So figured, why not? Let's kill two birds with one stone here. So let's go ahead and get into this. I had the eighth pick overall out of 12 coaches. Now, originally, I was going to have first pick, but one of our two champions that we had last season, between Copy Ninja of National Dex, which was the one we were in last season where we made semifinals, and we choked our War Turtle sweep. That's still going to be nightmares for me. But we have DJS who won low tier divisions as well. So basically, whatever division they you guys signed up for and wanted to do, they were guaranteed first overall pick. And when Super Person X did the whole drafting, they were supposed to switch them around. So, excuse me. So technically speaking, I actually had first pick, but since they were the eighth position coach and they were supposed to be getting first pick, they swapped. They had a switch with me, so I unfortunately got the eighth pick. So some of the really good Ubers were gone. Primal Kyogre was gone. That was one of the Ubers I was definitely looking at the most to draft because I've already been using regular Kyogre in VGC, and I really think Primal can be really, really good, even with the restriction of holding the blue stone or whatever it is. But that got sniped, I think, a pick or two right before me, so that really kind of sucked. But it is what it is. So when I was looking at the Ubers that were on the board, I wanted to get Ubers that were really good and I could really work well with it, almost bring every single week. Excuse me, and kind of just go around from there, you know. So with that being said, I was looking at some stuff, and surprisingly enough, by the time it was down to our pick, three of the four RCS forms were picked. There was Fairy, which was in the second pick. Then I think Water was right after, and then Dark was like a few picks after, and then it was my pick after a couple of picks. And I decided to go with the last Arceus form. I went with Arceus Steel Metallic here. Now, let me explain why I went with the Arceus form and to go for the last one that was available on the board for me. There was a couple of reasons why I took the last Arceus form. One, by taking this Arceus form, I'm taking basically the last one that can be drafted, and no one else can draft this Pokemon with besides the other three that were in front of me that drafted there. So I can basically bring an Arceus form that can counter most. Bring an Arceus form well, at least majority of all the opponents can. So I think that gives me a really good extinct advantage. Two, I wanted to grab an Arceus form if that was left on the board. It was probably one of the best ones on the board. If like, because I think it was this dragon and a few other typings that I think were really solid still. Excuse me. That I wanted to go for. And then three, by taking Arceus Steel, I guaranteed that again no one else could get Arceus form, and plus this was probably the best Arceus form left on the board there, and probably was the one that I'm surprised lasted this long towards me. So very surprised by that, but overall I went with Arc Steel as my first pick. Arc Steel, from what I've been told by my good buddy Steering, is one of the best steel types in the Ubers format, and plus just in general one of the best steel types overall because of just the fact that it's pure typing to steel really does counter a lot of typings offensively and covers a lot of typings defensively. It gives me a stealth rocker, so you always like a steel type that does get stealth rocks. It is also a steel type that does get removal and defog if need be. But I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I pretty much don't want to use this thing as kind of a defensive type, even though I can definitely make it defensive typing as well. I want to make this kind of more of a pseudo offensive mon on my team because I do have a few mons on my team that do get hazard removal on my side, so I think I could definitely make them more of a hazard removal if need be. But what's really cool about RC Steel, again, when it comes to hazards, the only hazards that kind of might slight damage to it is going to be webs and spikes. But overall, RC Steel is going to really punish fat fairies, going to punish potential poisons, and just overall, just excuse me, some of the most defensive typings in the game. So I'm really excited for Arceus Steel here. Hopefully, I can um, make it use really well, and I'm really excited to just give this Pokemon a try again. It gets all the coverage in the world because it is God of all Pokemon. So that's really good. So on my next pick, I was really thinking what I wanted to get because I think I wanted to get some stuff that paired really well with Arceus Steel in terms of its typing and stuff like that. And then I ultimately went with a mod that I think pairs defensively really freaking good with Arceus Steel, and that was Rainbow the Ho-Oh. Now, I went with Ho-Oh for the fact that Ho-Oh just gives you a mon that is defensive typing wise paired perfectly and beautifully with Metallica. The main weakness that Ho-Oh deals with is rock type Pokemon. Arceus Steel hard counters every single time. Arceus Steel can't really take on fire types. Ho-Oh can, even though yes, some burn types do get rock coverage, but the rock coverage is not stab, and Ho can actually be built relatively defensive enough to kind of take rock type hits for most times than not. This gave me a regenerator Pokemon, so this is gonna be a mon that can definitely get some pivoting potentially. I believe it learns U-turn. I could be mistaken. Okay, it's not learning U-turn. Never mind. Does it learn teleport? Okay, don't click the moves there. It does not learn teleport, but it's fine. But it's overall a Pokemon that's very defensively good. I can definitely bring some regen with this Mon. And just overall, it's just a super good Mon. The typing is really good. It is that kind of Mon that I kind of am forced to run boots almost every single time. But if we can find the right matchup where boots aren't necessarily going to be a thing on this Pokemon, this is definitely going to be one of those Pokemon that can definitely be good. This again can be one of my defensive pivots as well that I really need be. I can run like Roost Defog on this set. You kind of just make it a little bit more of a defensive utility in some ways. Because again, how well is that one Pokemon that doesn't necessarily always be an offensive breaker? It can definitely play defensive, teammate along with the teams as well. And I overall think Ho-Oh is really good for this team. I think it's going to be super really good. Right now, I can't really deal with electric and water types the most right now, but we're definitely going to be patching that up later on in the draft. But overall, I love Ho-Oh. I think it's definitely nice, even though I'm a team Soul Silver and Silver fans over there with Lugia. But anyways, I think Ho-Oh is going to be really great. I'm really excited to try this Pokemon out. With my third Uber pick, I did not relatively decided on this. I wanted Darkrai, yet Darkrai by the near the end of round two got sniped. So 3 times I had opportunity to get Darkrai, I've been sniped on it. In WWC, it was gonna be my first pick. I got sniped on it. In LPBL, I wanted that roughly in around the fourth round. Even though maybe I should have grabbed it third, but again, I still think it was relatively early for it. I got sniped on it there. And then here, I was going to 100% get it round 3 because there was no way I was expecting anyone to go round 2 Darkrai and then it gets sniped. Anytime I'm in a league where Darkrai is allowed, I'm not allowed Darkrai. I don't know why. I had decided on 3 Pokemon. I decided on Calyrex, Giratina O, and Urshifu Second Strike. And that became the option of 2 because DJS sniped me, Calyrex Ice Rider, and he just has a habit of me wanting to face this Pokemon, which if you guys don't know, I'm actually facing DGS in the VGC finals, and he has Calyrex on that team too. So lovely. So I was left with 2 options, and both options actually made it back to me. So I had to decide between getting a Dragon Ghost type or a Fighting Dark type. What I felt like was a little bit more necessary than the other, and what could really benefit the team more in terms of what it can do and how it could pair well with the team. And ultimately, I decided to go with Wu-Tai, the Urshifu Single Strike. Now, some can argue and say this Pokemon's not really an Uber Pokemon. It's like basically a tier 1 Pokemon, even though it's banned in tier leagues. But to me, this was the one Uber I felt like I could get that would pair really well with the team. Like, the main weaknesses this thing is going to have is fighting and fairy types. I just drafted 2 of the best counters to fighting and fairy on my team. I drafted 2 amazing fairy resist. I drafted 1 amazing fire resist. And later on in the draft, we're going to get a couple of other fighting resist. Mostly won't like 2. But overall, oh no, 3, my bad. I felt like this was really good in terms of flying. I have an Arceus Steel. I do have another pick and 2 down the line as well that can kind of take on flying. But overall, I felt like this paired so well with my Ubers. So I definitely think overall this was the better choice. And what's also good is I'm not limited to an item. I can run any item I can on Urshifu, so that's really good there as well. But just overall, I did enjoy Urshifu the first time I used it. I definitely would want to try it more. It definitely did okay for the first time I used it. Could have definitely done better in some games if I had probably played it slightly better in some ways. And the first time I ever used Urshifu was APA Indigo season 6, I want to say. Yeah, I think it was season 6. Yeah, season 6. And the first time I ever used it, I won a championship in APA Indigo with this mon. This mon definitely is a lot of fun to use. It's offensively super hard to switch into. Wicked Blow is stupidly broken. Good priority user in Sucker Punch as well. And just overall, I felt this was a really good Pokemon, especially a Pokemon that try to use Protect. Protect is definitely one of the main moves used in the Uber's meta. So I'm really excited to use Urshifu again. Hopefully, it can do it justice, and I can punch things. So going on to my third, and I was going on to my next pick. I was actually kind of surprised this was still on the board a little bit, but I didn't. It definitely made sense for everyone to focus on getting their Ubers first. But I felt like getting this Mon paired so well with the team, and I think really provides a lot of good options for the team. And that Mon was Tapu Fini. Now, Tapu Fini gives you a really good bulky water, both on the physical and special side. It's not a bad offensive Pokemon as well. It's definitely got a decent enough speed here to take advantage of. HP stats, a little not the best there, but it's definitely something that can work. Really excited to try Tapu Fini. I am so happy to get this. This is a mon I definitely don't use a lot of. And sometimes it's because there's just better water types. If not, I'm just drafting Dracovish all the time. And I usually get either a better fairy or a fairy that is definitely more beneficial for the team in some way. So I'm super excited. I got Finny with that Misty Surge again. I'm not going to be able to be paralyzed. I'm not going to be able to burn. And that's really the Urshifu paired in this is really, really good because now Prankster Mons cannot use their priority. And, oh no, that's a different thing I'm thinking of. Never mind. But those Prankster Mons now, they can't burn me or anything like that. So it's really, really good there. Now, Finny does get Defog, which was a second Defog removal. And yes, T-Fog does get a array terrain if you guys did not know about that fact with the Gen 8 move buffs and stuff like that. Even though people would say that's a move buff, that's more of a move hindrance. But in some matches, getting rid of terrain can actually be beneficial to you versus being like a hindrance to you. But Finny is still a model that can run defog if need be. It's a really good defensive piece. Offensively, there are some times where Finny can just really go in. The combination of Water Fairy really hits a lot of teams hard. And just overall, it does get decent enough coverage. And I just overall think this could be a fantastic Pokemon. And I'm really excited to try Finny. And this Finny just paired on this team is just so good. Again, another fighting resist, which is really good for Urshifu. Does when it comes to having now that poison weakness, we do have Arceus Steel. And again, just paired with the team is just so really good, man. I'm really, really excited for this mon. And we are looking really, really good right now between our defense and offense at the same time. But now I need to really start getting electric resist for the team because if I don't get the electric resist, I'm definitely going to be looking at a problem with electric types because I really don't want to rely on metallic to be like Spadef or Fizdef to counter the certain electric types. So I went with one of the good old fan favorites. It's good old Divine the Tangrowth. Now this has been a Pokemon I've been hit or missing with terms of if I can use it or not, and I would say it's definitely hit or miss still. I'm hoping this Uber's format helps you really use Tangrowth well. This thing has one of the best Zygarde counters in the entire format, which is really good now. Yes, Zygarde does get access to Skitter Smack in this format, in this generation now because of the move buffs. But overall, it's still an amazing Zygarde check, and it's just overall a really good Pokemon. Believe it or not, only 2 out of the 3 Zygarde forms were drafted. You can kind of see who drafted one and the other one obviously being Zygarde 100%, which surprisingly enough went in the first round. I thought that was the more likely round 2 Pokemon, but you never know. But Tangrowth is really, really good. Natural defensive stat, which is really good. It's so high in terms of his HP and defense that you barely need to run enough investment, and where you can pretty much go max Spadef if you need to with the Assault Vest in some weeks. And just overall, I think Tangrowth's a really good Pokemon because it gives me access to Sleep Powder. Now, Sleep Powder, yes, you can say is a little bit of a hindrance with having the Misty Surge up, but there can definitely be some matches where Sleep Powder may not even be that effective, and I could just run something like Leech Seed instead of Sleep Powder. So overall, I think Tangrove's a really good fit for this team. Definitely gives me a more of a bulkier piece for this team, which I definitely think I needed to start getting. But the main thing I wanted was that ground and electric immunity, which I really need to start picking up on. And I think Tangrove's going to fill the role really good. With that next pairing, though, I went with Doberman, the Zygarde 10%. And I don't think I've ever really used this thing. Now, this is not a like ground all be all amazing dragon type, ground all be all ground type, but I do get access to 1,000 Arrows, for the most spammable move in the game. Does just give me a mon that can kind of click Choice Band or Dragon Dance or Coil and just kind of click buttons. A good speed tier of 115, which is another main thing I really needed. You see, the speed tiers now are kind of gaping perfectly well. The highest being 120, down to 115, down to a 97, down to 90, and down to 85. My speed tiers are definitely gaping in between relatively good. Like, not by big gaps, not too small gaps, anything like that. So, overall, I think the team is coming really well with speed, and overall, the team is definitely kind of balancing out. Guys, Ho can definitely go special in some matches, but he can also primarily physical. Same thing can go with RCS being mixed or fully in terms of what I can do. Again, Tangrowth can go mix as well. And again, just overall, this team can really put in a lot of work. I definitely think Zygarde 10, it's going to be very interesting to see how we use it this season. Just very interested to try it out, and hopefully we can use it well. I've seen my good buddy Shay Quaza use this Pokemon quite well enough. So hopefully I can be able to use it as good as him, and let's just hope we can do well with it. Now, by the time round 6 came, round 6 or 7 came, I had decided on 2 Pokemon, or 3 in this instance, one of which got sniped. So that made it easier. So I was debating, and I wasn't even going to get Zygarde 10 originally. I was debating between the Pokemon I picked next and Zygarde 50. I was so close to picking Zygarde 50, but I ultimately went with Zygarde 10 to get the one mon I wanted because then I could still get a good enough dragon, a good enough ground, but still get this Pokemon and still have a decent amount of budget to kind of get the last remaining pieces that I need for the team. So the last really big Pokemon we drafted was Spectrier in round 7. Now, I'm not going to say this thing's a steal to get in round 7 because it's not realistically a steal. If this was a normal draft league, I definitely think that would be a steal to get round 7. But why'd I go with Spectre? Now, Spectre, if you guys don't know, in Nat Dex was our kill leader and definitely put in a lot of good work in some matches. And I legit think this paired on this team with having Urshifu single strike and this thing. I've seen my good buddy Spartan actually use this core. And this mini core is disgustingly good on an offensive spectrum. Spectre only can't really hit his normals and darks. Urshifu counters both dark and can take on normals and beat them down. And we pretty much counter about everything else in this format with terms of going offensively with. And just offensively, those two paired really well. I definitely think it's again another Pokemon that's gonna be a little hindrance from using Willow with having Vinny around. But again, there's certain matchups where I can just go Spectre, just click choice specs hits. I could even go Scarf if I really wanted to. This just also give me another good elite speed of 130 to help with my speed tiering as well. Just overall, this was a fantastic Mon offensively, and I'm just super excited to use Spectre again. I'm hoping to have some good success with it like I did in National Dex. Let's hope that we can definitely bring it to a good amount of the games and hopefully try to get on that kill leaderboard like we did before. With my next pick to pair with it, I went with Shelmet. We're gonna name it Aquarius's icon, which you guys don't know. Aquarius's Twitch icon has a Shelmet on it, so go follow her on her Twitch. I'll make sure that every time I bring it, it's gonna have Aquarius Twitch in the description. So I may try to bring it every single week to give her that amount of plugs, but it's gonna depend. I purely drafted this for a ground resist, which my team still struggled with the ground typing. So I really just needed a full odds ground resist along with Tangrowth. This also does give me a mom with toxic spikes. This does give me a mom with spikes. So overall, I don't think it was a beneficial wasted pick. I definitely think it's a pick that makes a lot of sense. And who knows, Shelmet could be a low key MVP to the team. And I mean, I was willing to draft that before the other two. Theoretically, I definitely think I could have waited on this, but knowing that a lot of people were getting close to net near the end of the picks, I definitely think this was the one of the best tier two Pokemon, like not tier two, but like point tiers. The point tiers that we did, the 2 pointers and all that. This was one of the best, if not probably the best 2 pointer that was on the board at that point in time. So I had to snoop it up definitely a bit early, but hopefully it does make a lot of sense. He definitely puts in a lot of work for the team. With my last two picks, first one being Skunk Tank. I've definitely been drafting Skunk Tank a lot. It's definitely not been doing too much for me, but I kind of had to be that type of situation where I had to draft it. It's not too bad in a defensive role. It's also not that bad at an offensive one. Primarily, I just drafted this thing for defog, the type coverage that it provides me, and also just overall, again, just a decent enough Pokemon where I can kind of just switch in, kind of get rid of some of the hazards that I need and stuff like that. But overall, I think it's going to be a decent enough mon. I'm not going to really talk about too much because we've been using it a lot lately, but I think it's going to be really good. And with my last pick, I definitely did not want to go without a mega, and I definitely think this is a mega that's not going to be the greatest for our team, but it was something I really needed for my team. And that was a Mega Manetric. Now, Mega Manetric does give me that base 135 speed tier, which now gives us a really elite speed. So our highest speed 135, 130, 120, 115, down to 96, and then the lowest I want to say for our best speed is 85. So I definitely think my speed tiers are incredible and definitely going to be really good there. Um, this is even a mod that can pretty much run modest in most matchups and just click a button. This thing is definitely not the most reliable or the best electric type, but I think in some matches it's definitely going to be that electric type that we need to kind of just click buttons with and just do a lot of work with. Oh, something I haven't also said with Arceus Steel yet. I went with Arceus Steel because of the three other art forms, we pretty much hard counter them all. We counter Fairy, which was the first one. Water, we kind of don't really cover and can beat relatively well. Dark, I then was kind of one I kind of failure like we could have been able to beat as well. So three of the forms right there that got drafted, I can pretty much beat the 2 out of 3 that I had there, I could pretty much speed. So that's why I went Lark Seal. But overall, uh, Mega Man, it's really good. I'm gonna keep the team as right now, kind of look into it. But obviously, I think from probably Spectrier to down, including Zygog and stuff like that, I'm definitely gonna have to look into and see how well it does and kind of go from there. But overall, this team I think came out really good. Definitely think it's got a good amount of speed. I definitely think it's got a good amount of bulk, good amount of offense. Again, the only thing I could maybe have done better was probably slightly better reliable removal and probably definitely some hazards. So I definitely don't think it's not necessarily the most perfect team I've ever drafted, but it's pretty close up there for really kind of balanced out in terms of what I have. But yeah. Thank you guys so much for sticking around for the video. I'm sorry if it was really, really long, but I figured I had to kind of explain stuff because, again, I am one of the mods in the server. So I figured I really would try to kind of just go out there and just let you guys know about all the ruling and stuff like that I expect from this season. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already. And let's hopefully have a good season, have a really good first season of the Airbiz Division, and have some fun and enjoy some time. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.